Hello and welcome. You're watching Your Trades on ET Now with me, Snehisha, and with me as always is Priyanka Uppal. Priyanka, well, not much to complain about in today's trading session. We did see some moves coming in at one point of the day. Nifty was holding up really well to gains, but we've ended rather flat, and 23,264 is where we have shut shop for the day. Sensex, however, has ended slightly in the negative. Not much happening on that front as well. Very flat, but a slight tinge of a negative bias coming on the Sensex as well. At 76,459 is where we've closed on the Sensex as well. India Wix, very interesting moves coming in. Almost 10% cool off seen on the India Wix as well. Remember, just last week we were as high as 28 on India Wix. And as of now, we've closed at 14.7. Very good move coming in on India Wix as well for a good cool off in front of us. Nifty Bank too then. Nifty Bank is closed with a cut of 75 points, and almost 0.1% lower is where Nifty Bank is. So flat but slightly in the red nonetheless. However, the broader markets were the one to watch out for today because there are moves coming on that front. Nifty Midcap has closed the day with a gain of 0.8%, a clear outperformer when it comes to all of these benchmark indices. And Nifty Small Cap also, there you have it. It is has closed the day with a gain of almost 0.5%. But while that was what was happening on the markets front, then sectorally, you had a mixed bag coming in across the street. Media, realty, auto, energy and PSU banks and slightly IT. They have closed in the green, and on the flip side, you have metal, Nifty Finance, Nifty Bank, FMCG and Pharma. Pharma has been your top loser today. 0.4% lower is where Pharma has ended. Nifty Realty today, very good moves coming in on the back of that extension of the PMAY scheme that we saw today, both on the rural and urban. So you had affordable developers as well as affordable financiers, the likes of Aavas, Aptus, PNB Housing, LIC Housing Finance, all of them are doing pretty well in today's trade as well. And yet another stock today to watch out was HCC, because that stock was up and away in today's trading session on the back of a brokerage note that Elara has had come out with this morning. And Elara has initiated a buy rating. They've initiated a coverage with a buy rating on HCC with a target price of 63 rupees per share. They believe that the standalone revenue and EBITDA both have a CAGR of 20% over FY24 and FY27. They believe that all the hard work that the company has put into in the last 10 years is now going to bear some fruit, and they're on the path to poise all the reclaimed lost glory as well. Peak standalone debt has also fallen by 45%, and on the order pipeline front also they're seeing 100 billion rupees worth of orders coming in FY25 and 15% more after that. So those were some of your big buzzers in today's trading session, and of course you had a whole host of other stocks also in focus on the back of news flows. Like I told you, you had the PMAY stocks were in focus, you had sugar stocks in focus, but Priyanka will be telling you more about that as well, and a host of stocks in focus on the back of block deal also. Priyanka, IRB, Indigo, Honasa, tell us more about that.
In fact, absolutely, Interglobe Aviation, if you remember the promoter Rahul Bhatia, he along with Gangwal family, they own the highest of the stake, but then what stake, they're just trimming 2% stake worth 3293 crore. That was one of the block deals which had to happen in the morning. It happened the early trades. Second came in from FIS Intra Investments, which was likely to sell 5% stake worth 1900 crore in IRB Infra. That was a second big block deal, and Honasa also. And we did saw stocks moving in tandem to the news also. But then this was one part of the news. The big news also came in from energy space also, wherein and also the sugar stocks, because ethanol blending target has been revised. The current ethanol blending the current level is around about 11%. For FY25, the target has been revised from 20% to 25%. That was one strong news for entire sugar space also, and not just the sugar space. In fact, key comments coming in from Petroleum Minister Hardeep Singh Puri also on OMCs, on BPCL, and talked about GST ambit also. That also drove these stocks to the high levels. A lot of stocks which were buzzing in trade, infra space, continuing that space only. Stocks like GMR Infra, they were the top gainers of mid-cap space also. And of course, BPCL, HPCL, all the energy pack stocks also we saw post this news reacting to these stocks reacting to this particular news also. But now, in terms of levels, what one should eye at? What are the levels one needs to keep in mind to take a fresh position from here? We have Naresh Mirani joining us to give us a tech check. Naresh, hi, welcome. Of course, largely the expectation of the political continuity are baked in, and this was anticipated that there can be some kind of consolidation on the index levels, and that's what exactly we saw on the index also. What is your view at this point in time? Would you hold on to your longs, or how is the strategy looking like? Or we might be in for some more consolidation in days to come?
So, if you look at the markets in terms of a little longer term view, not even just a few weeks, which has happened, we were at closer to this price point of 22,800 back in April as well as in March of this year. And we were at 22,000 back in January, February. So we've not gone majorly upwards, but we've seen a lot of volatility. Even now, when you've closed at 23,260 odd levels, we were at 23,100 on 27th May as well. So overall, there has not been much of a headway in terms of the total amount of move, but there has been a lot of volatility. The reversal has been sharp. So in this case, if this reversal has to continue and the trend is up, 22,800 is the first major support. But after such a recovery and volatility, it is good that we get into a sideways consolidation, maybe with a little drift up higher, wherein going forward 23,100 becomes a support. 23,600, 800 becomes a resistance. I would not expect this band to cross off very quickly. So for now, it could be a 500 pointer range on the Nifty for the next maybe couple of weeks. But stock specific action could continue. We've hit new highs on the mid cap and the small cap indices also. So it's not just the large cap making a recovery, it is across the board.
Well, point well taken, and those are the levels that everybody must be watching out for when it comes to the benchmark index. But you did say it is a stock-specific market, and yes, this mid pack has made a stellar recovery as well. So what stocks would you pick to navigate the market that we are in, either from this mid space?
So the first one is a stock from the cement space. Cements as such has given a strong reversal in some cases. In some cases, it's a breakout. So I'll be taking a reversal stock, which is Dalmia Bharat. Corrected from 2,400 all the way down to 1,700 levels, made a double bottom over there. And now the last interim highs are being crossed above the 1,850, 1,900 mark. So if this breakout is done, it should head up towards 2,100, stop loss at 1,850. Second is a buy on Gabriel India. Again, a stock from auto ancillary space where we are seeing breakouts across the board, whether it is a Uno Minda or a Lumax or Sunset. Various companies are breaking out. So Gabriel is also one which broke out today with very strong volumes. So out here, expecting a move towards 460 to 500, stop loss at 390.
All right. Thanks very much, Naresh. Both the stocks happen from small and mid cap space only. That has made to your radar. Thanks very much. We'll let you go on this. Srishti also joins in to help us understand that which are the stocks that she's found on the charts where a breakout pattern is visible. Srishti, what are you highlighting today?
So two counters we wish to highlight. On the breakout side, the oil and gas sector was clearly buzzing today, and from that pack, have a look at Petronet LNG, because this stock ended the day with a gain of over 4%. And what was interesting to see is that the stock was once again seen to be testing its key resistance of around 310, 315 odd range, and it was exactly a bounce that the stock did take from its 20-day moving average. This move today was very well supported by long build-ups on the derivative side, and this is the first stock that we wish to highlight on the breakout side. Moving on to the next one, another sector that was buzzing was clearly the sugar space. Indeed, there was a news flow there, but very interesting chart setup for Balrampur Chini is what we have spotted, because you will see that this particular stock on the charts, this was the earlier stock Petronet LNG, but the other stock was Balrampur Chini, which has made a decent move in today's trading session. Once again moved from its 400 odd levels. 406 is where the stock shut shop, and it was like the fourth or the fifth time that the stock was actually retesting its level of 406. And clearly on the charts, if we'll see, then Balrampur Chini ended the day with a gain of over 2%. It was the breakout that we have spotted on this particular stock as well, though the move today was supported by a short covering, but indeed a bounce from its 20-day moving average, and hence qualifying for the breakout candidate. So these are the two stocks on the breakout side. Back to you guys.
Thanks so much for taking us through that. Balrampur Chini as well as Petronet LNG on Shrishti's technical radar, both on the breakout side. But with that, let's shift focus. Let's slip into the word from the wise segment. And with policy continuity now ensured, how will the PSUs fare? What's going to happen to the entire PSU basket? Will they see further re-rating, or is the rally overdone? Here are out the views of Milind Karmakar, Vikas Khemani as well as Manish Sontalia on how to play the entire PSU pack.
If there is earnings growth, then you look at the PE and then you decide whether to buy or not. But otherwise, anything to do with PSU going up, I think it was a sentiment-driven rally, which in all probability will stop.
I think what will continue, in my opinion, same building, push on infrastructure, push on manufacturing. Prime Minister has spoken many times about, how we need to become self-reliant. So I think those policies will continue. I think, the reforms, especially in some of the critical sectors, will continue. I mean, whether it was power, infrastructure, everywhere, I think lots of things were happening, and maybe, they will continue. Especially one sector where I think it can become bigger is probably power.
I think given where valuations of the private sector units are, the capex continuity, particularly in railways, defense, power, the private counterparts are actually trading at significantly higher valuations. And when you have a situation when, the internal machinery in the PSUs is being geared up for growth and creation of market cap and rewarding shareholders and all stakeholders, I think there is a case for a re-rating in the PSU space, even from these levels.
All right, that's a take coming in on the PSU space. We stay for a short break here. Once we come back, we'll get you more from the derivative side. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back. You're watching Your Trades, and now time for a derivative check. From last 2 days, we saw no fresh open interest addition, and there was a tight range within which the indices were expected to trade between, and that's what we saw also. But the trend which appears here right now might lead towards a long wilter for both Bank Nifty and Nifty. However, there is a call writing on the levels at the immediate levels also. In fact, 23,300, 23,400 also happens to be a level where there were call writers. So clearly, these two levels are going to be the resistance level, but we do have a support in sense of 23,100 and 23,200, because the maximum of the put writing action has happened on these strikes also. So maybe possibly, Snehi, the way it was anticipated, we could trade in a very narrow range tomorrow also.
Well, absolutely. So derivatives are indicating a range-bound trading session tomorrow, and we'll just have to wait and see what that pans out for us tomorrow. But let's also go across and slip into the big story of the day. And on the very first day of taking charge as the Petroleum Minister, Hardeep Singh Puri said that they remain confident of achieving the 25% ethanol blending target by 2025. And when asked if they were considering bringing petrol and diesel under the entire ambit of GST, he responded by saying efforts are on. Let's go across and listen into what he had to say.
In the month of May, for a month alone, on a month alone basis, we were able to cross 15% of ethanol blending. So I can tell you that on the basis of what I have seen and the basis of the work in progress, I am reasonably confident that the 20% blending target, which was brought forward from 2030 to 2025, will be completed by the 2025 ethanol year.
पेट्रोलियम प्रोडक्ट्स अंडर जीएसटी, ये बहुत स्टेटमेंट आते, क्या एक कंसेंसस बनाने की कोशिश होगी?
मैं आपको एक चीज बताऊं, आपकी शब्दावली मुझे बहुत पसंद है. कोशिश होगी, आंसर इज कैटेगोरिकली कोशिश होगी. No, hold on. I am giving you my philosophical approach. I mean, as a line minister, you say कोशिश होगी means you try. I said yes, we will try. Both MOS and I will both work on it.
Because that's a big call to action from the political scenarios only, because GST and VAT, that's the combination which works on the for the sugar, for the GST on petroleum products. But these two key statements actually helped fuel the sugar stocks also, and also the OMC counters. But then sugar companies do have a different version also. Earlier we caught up with the N Manikam, CMD for Shakti Sugar, and he had a different view. He said that more blending will lead to diversion of sugar from retail market. Let's go across and listen in what else he had to say on this.
See, right now, domestic, last 10 years, the government has been maintaining the domestic price below cost of production. Okay, we should be at 40, 44 rupees now. We are only at 38. So if the prices go below this, even now the farmers are having a problem. We are not in a position to pay the farmers properly. So if it goes below the current prices, I think you will have a crisis of the farmer. So you need to, now with the surplus sugar coming in, which is coming in about 3 million tons, then again you will have pressure on the farm front. We will not be able to pay the farmers until the cane prices come up. Sugar prices come up well. So this idea of blending more of ethanol will basically take away sugar from the sugar market into ethanol and give a balance to the industry.
All right, well, that was one of the street market players, in fact, Shakti Sugar's reaction to what H.S. Puri had to say about the 25% ethanol blending target. But he also made a comment about including petrol and diesel under the gambit of GST, like we told you. So to understand that, we caught up with Harshvardhan Dole of IIFL Securities to get an overview of the sector and the select stocks on his radar. He says he would want natural gas under the GST gambit. Let's go across and listen in to why he thinks so.
Key thing that I would like to see in the sector over the next 12 months is inclusion of natural gas under the GST. And that should actually bode well for the entire gas utilities pack, including the CGDs. As of now, I think within the 3 CGDs that we track, IGL is a preferred pick because it has mastered the technique of balancing volume and price growth. Mahanagar Gas, which is trying to revive the volumes, unfortunately is sitting on peak margins. And therefore, even if the volumes were to grow, the margin compression basically will more or less offset that, leading to muted earnings growth. And therefore, we do not like the risk reward in Mahanagar Gas. Gujarat Gas, unfortunately, also is sitting at the peak margins. And a lot more things have to happen in addition to GST for us to turn favorable in case of Gujarat Gas.
All right, moving ahead and talking about a stock which has actually given us stellar moves in the past 1 year, and the stock is Tata Motors, which conducted its Investor Day meet recently. And the company plans to focus on robust FCF, free cash flows, and monetize non-core assets also. What are the other key takeaways? Srishti joins in with all the highlights from the analyst meet. Srishti, take us away.
Well, yes, Tata Motors Investor Day meet is underway. That is the Investor Day for India business that is happening today, while for JLR will happen next week. So let me just kickstart with the updates coming in for the JLR division for now, where the company does say that they're once again reiterating their debt reduction guidance, where they say that the JLR will be net debt free by next year, and the focus for the JLR division will be on robust free cash flow and monetize some of their non-core assets. They expect the free cash flow to continue in the times ahead. Wherein very positive commentary coming in for the passenger vehicle division as well, where the company have said that they are still hungry in terms of the sustainability in the passenger vehicle market, especially when it comes to the EV penetration. They want to expand it further. But onto the margin side, what's interesting to see that the company does say that they want to deliver market-beating growth and set up the margins by 200 basis points in the upcoming year. The company has already done pretty well in terms of the margin growth in their passenger vehicle business. So this is something that we will be watching out for, how the company delivers on 200 basis points increase from these numbers. From the commercial vehicle segment, interesting to note that all these CV players are coming out with very positive commentary, case in point being Tata Motors. They expect the commercial vehicle cycle to continue for the longer period on the back of continued infra spend, as well as they also say that they are planning to win in the commercial vehicle segment that is expected to continue to do well on the strong base, and they want to win back the share in the small commercial vehicle segment. So that is something that will be interesting to watch in the times ahead. And lastly, on to the synergies between the passenger vehicle and commercial vehicle. The demerger has already been announced, and the company does say that the demerger, after all approvals, is likely by 1st of July 2025. So those are the key highlights coming in from Tata Motors Investor Day meet.
Alright, well, so that was all the key highlights from the Tata Motors Investors Day. That stock will continue to be in focus tomorrow, and Tata Communications also has its Investor Day. But let's shift focus. Let's talk about one of the biggest stories of the day, and that is the Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana. Now, yesterday in Modi 3.0's first cabinet meeting, this announcement was made that the Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana, or the PMAY, is going to be extended further to 3 crore houses across both the rural as well the urban segments. Now, remember, under PMAY, in the last 10 years, 4.21 crore houses have already been made under this scheme, and the unchanged home loan rates, remember repo rates a few days ago have been left unchanged. So those unchanged home loan rates coupled with the expansion in the PMAY scheme could bring some new vibrancy to the affordable housing segment. Now, this is a view coming in from Anna Rock, and they take it all the way back to the interim budget in February, where they say that Nirmala Sitharaman had in the interim budget also announced the construction of 2 crore more houses under the PMAY Gramin, which is the rural side of this scheme, in the next 5 years. And the interim budget also indicated that the mid-segment housing would witness targeted action, and this is exactly what we did see happening in the cabinet meeting yesterday. Policy alignment would also lead to further growth of India's housing sector, is Anurok's view on this entire event taking place. Switching focus and talking about PMAY on the urban side, then there has been a demand of 1.12 crore homes or units under this PMAY scheme. But on a positive note, the government has already rolled out sanctions for 1.18 crore, which is higher than what the demand is as of now. But when you take a look at the state of affordable housing in India, we have seen a trend reversal over the last 5 years, because in Q1 of 2019, affordable housing made up 37% of the pie of all of the total sales of housing in India, but that has now dropped only to 20% in Q1 2024, coming in at a little more than 26,500 units. So, well, this extension of the PMAY scheme is seen to be a boost for affordable housing players, and this is not only on the developer side. Of course, on the developer side, you have names like Suntech Realty. You have other players like Ajmera Realty, Signature Global, and all the players who are into mid-income or mid-ticket size housing. But this has also affected all the affordable financiers also on the NBFC side, the likes of Aavas, Aptus, Aadhar, Home First, India Shelter. All of these stocks have been up and away, buzzing in today's trading session, anywhere between 5 and 7%. So positive news flow coming in for both developers as well as financiers, Priyanka.
All right, affordable housing. Well, this was one space that the traders, of course, one shot in the arm for this entire space, and the news you just mentioned, Snehi. Let's go ahead. Gaurav joins in with a list of other buzzing stocks in the trade today. Gaurav, please tell us what all you have.
Well, yes. PNC Infra was in focus today because CBI conducted a search operation at Mr. YK Jain, who is Managing Director, and Mr. TR Rao, who is Whole-Time Director, at the house of these people. And at the same time, they also conducted the search operation at corporate office and arrested a few employees. And on back of this news, we saw the stock was down almost more than 8% in a day today. Next, let's talk about transformers and rectifiers, because QIP for this stock opened yesterday. And if you look at floor price, it was set at 699 rupees 0.95. And on back of this, we saw the stock reacted positively. It was up almost by 5%. Next, let's talk about IRB, because company saw 2,656 crore rupees worth of block deal. Sintra is likely to be a seller who has offloaded almost 6.8% of its stake. And if you look at stock performance, it was down almost more than 6%. Next, let's talk about Honasa, and this is again on the back of the block deal. The company saw a block deal worth 291 crore rupees, which is actually 2% of the promoter shareholding. And on back of this, if you look at the stock performance, it was down more than 4%. And lastly, let's talk about Tata Steel, because company has now said that it will continue with the announcement of the closure of the heavy assets and restructuring program at Port Talbot in UK. And on back of this news, we will definitely watch out for Tata Steel as well. So on back of the news flows, we will be watching out on these stocks and see how they perform for investors in days coming ahead as well.
All right, well, Gaurav, thanks so much for taking us through that list of stocks. We'll obviously be keeping a close eye on all of these stocks tomorrow as well. But with that, it's a goodbye from Priyanka, me and the entire team that put this show together, because we're going to go home and take a quick rest before we come back tomorrow. Lots to watch out for tomorrow. You have the FOMC rate outcome coming in. So, well, sit tight and we'll just have to see how the markets pan out.
We might have to react on that on Thursday morning. But then, yes, of course, the global markets were in a wait-and-watch mood yesterday.
Absolutely.
But it would not be today. Let's see how it pans out. Thanks so much for watching the show.
If you like this video, then like, share and subscribe to ET Now.